Something fishy is definitely going on here. They're hiding something.
Let me call up the Chief of Interpretation, Bob DeCrow.
Robert. He doesn't exist. Break the lid off this.
It don't make sense.
Have you ever gotten any evidence taken away from you?
Yes. It was on Inside Edition, you might have seen it. See, there was this show that came out called The Men in Black. But I didn't know anything about this television show about guys going around in black suits. This is right at the same time. That was at the same time that the fire chief had taken his photos, and I had collected some hair samples and I had taken some cast. And I went to Fort Myers, Florida to do a radio show, fairly large radio show. And we talked about the tracks which I'd brought and the hair samples. And I came home that evening and it had just gotten dark and I was taking a shower and there was a knock at the door. Well, I stuck on some shorts and I was still wet and I went to the door and I opened it and there's two guys standing there with black suits on. And I said, and what was unusual was it was dark and they had on sunglasses. And I said, what's going on here, guys? And they said, are you Dave Shealy? And I was like, yeah. And they just barged right in and said, well, we need to talk to you. And they pulled back, the one guy pulled back his coat, and when he did, looked like ammunition cartridges, had some kind of like a police belt on. But they didn't have any badges. And one of them flipped out some kind of a card in his wallet. It looked like a driver's license more than it looked official. And he says, we're here and we want the tracks and we want to see the hair samples. Well, obviously they were there. And so I said, well, I don't have the tracks right now. I said, they're not here. And they said, well, what about the hair samples? And I look over and at the table where they were, and I looked back, and about that time one of them just walked over and grabbed it, and they stuck it in their jacket, and they just left. And I was standing there thinking, what the hell just went on? It was that quick. And I looked, and they were driving some car, a Lexus, right out of my front yard. It sounds crazy.